So we will start sharp by 7:32. So we'll let everyone join and just give it a couple of more minutes so that everyone is joining. Okay, so we are just waiting for Sajid to join, and once Sajid joins, we will get
Joined.
started. Hey
Joined.
Sajid, hey, good
Hi.
evening. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Great, great. So yeah, Thanks everyone for joining. So Sajid, let's just give it one more minute.
Yeah,
Okay, because few people are joining, and from there we will get started. Okay.
yeah,
In the meantime, I am just trying to get some this streamed in YouTube. So some
okay.
technical things going on. 1 second. Okay.
Yeah.
try his level best to answer the question. Okay, so Sajid, just let's have a quick intro, your intro, and from there we'll get started.
Okay. From December, my profile has changed a little. In this sense, my intro has changed a little. I call myself a chat GPT enthusiast first, and then I have at least two events which I have spoken to a very large recruitment group in terms of how chat GPT can change the job search, can change hiring. So that is a hot topic. That is that we'll have it on a different day. But close to 16 plus years in the tech recruitment space, hiring across EMEA, NA, and India. I started off my career in tech recruitment in India, and then while in India itself, I was doing for NA and EMEA, and then last 5 years in Canada. Right now, with the product SaaS company, I have worked for tech recruitment, non-tech recruitment, but predominantly I would say 90-95% is in tech recruitment. Um, so over the years, what has happened is I've realized that even though LinkedIn has come, there are different platforms where you can post your resume or your profile in different sense. Creative people have Behance, people have LinkedIn, some people put it on Instagram and TikTok, and they get jobs too, right? There was a lady who put up a very innovative post in Twitter, and she got a job. Unfortunately, she was laid off. She got a job in Twitter itself, but she was laid off during this recent layoff that happened there. But ultimately, even right now in 2023, your resume is still relevant, right? So there has been giving a lot of tips on this. So we thought, let's combine our knowledge and see how we can help people customize it and make better resumes, right? So that is what this whole conversation is about. We want to make it as a more of a Q&A session. We will give you a general outline, and then we'll take some questions and make it more interesting. Yeah, over to you, Sudhir.
Thanks, Ajit. So let us start with the basics. And in case anybody has any question, please feel free to come to the speaker panel and ask questions. So, Sajid, I'll ask the first questions. Okay, see, everyone is facing challenges with their resume format, the template. They have been updating the resume multiple times, several number of times, which we cannot even count. Still they are not getting calls, still they are getting rejected. What is the basic, from your experience, what is the basic mistakes, or what are the basic things which they have doing wrong, or what is the basic thing which they have to do it right for their resume to get selected or to be an outstanding resume in the pack of cards? Thanks.
You have to know what the hiring manager is exactly looking at. That is why we always say customize your resume based on the job role, because the hiring manager is also very busy, or let's say the recruiter is also. So there is a gateway, right? The recruiter is not the first gateway. The first gateway is the ATS system. So any application that you put through LinkedIn, or any application that goes, it gets filtered by an ATS, the advanced level ATS, which have AI and built in it. They will give a resume score. Resume score is based on what are the keywords that are there in your resume. Does it match, or does it have the similar kind of keywords in the job description? If there is a score, let's say they're saying that we want to look at scores above 80 to 85, only the recruiter sees only those resumes which clear the ATS, and then the recruiter filters it based on what are. Now everything will not be mentioned in a job description, but that is a guideline. So what the recruiter will first look is whether the key skills that the hiring manager is looking for, what is mentioned in the job description, is there in the resume itself. So that is your second hurdle. So in that second hurdle, once you clear that, and then only it goes to the hiring manager. When the hiring manager has, let's say, 8 or 10 candidates, based on what the talent pool is, he will shortlist a couple of candidates and call for the interview. Now, the biggest challenge that the candidates face is how do we understand what the hiring manager is looking for? So that is why we have the JD. So look at the JD, understand what keywords are used in that JD for a specific business. Now, it varies from location to location, and the challenge is sometimes the words that we use to describe our um, role or what we have done in a particular company, it might change according to the Canadian system, and you need to customize it according to the Canadian system. So that's why we take the job description as an outline, and based on that we see whether we have those skill set, and we put only those skills that we are confident in, but in the same similar kind of wordings. And always one has to remember that what you have done is important, but more than that, what has been your achievement. If you highlight 3 or 4 achievement in the first, and then what is your role, that makes more sense than just putting your roles and responsibilities alone. Achievement is a must. Everybody will have some kind of achievement. How you translate that into words and make meaningful sentences out of it, that is the key. So Sudhir, you're on mute.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry, Sajid. What did you ask?
No, no, I'm
Yeah.
saying, so that is what the hiring
Oh,
manager
yeah,
will
yeah.
be in
That's true. Yeah, yeah. So, Sajid, a lot of people coming from multiple backgrounds, they are actually trying to add more information, like personal informations and everything. So, would you can you please explain what all things we should add in the resume and what all things we shouldn't add in the resume?
Okay, I'll put what first. I'll start with what we shouldn't have, right?
Yep.
Because then that's easier. Eliminate what is not there and then put what is relevant. So you don't need your personal information like your age. When you passed out of college is also not relevant. If you are just a new grad, then it makes sense. Otherwise, you don't need to mention which year you passed out, right? And also the educational qualification and your certifications, you can put it to the end of the resume rather than in the top of the resume. If you have anywhere between 1+ years of experience, always put your current work experience on the top. Some people so those are things. So personal information, which college you studied, you can put. Which year is not required. Nowadays nobody even put how many, whether, of course, if you're a gold medalist, please do highlight, but otherwise you need not even put how much you have scored in your degree or masters, right? It doesn't make any sense. So what need not be there are all those personal information: father's name, mother's name, even address. You don't need to give the complete address with the pin code. You just need to give which location. If it is Toronto, just put Toronto, Ontario. That's it. That's all that is required in, even in address. You don't need to give the complete address. um, Sometimes I also think that let's say you have worked in IBM India. Does it make any difference whether you have worked in IBM India, IBM Canada, or IBM US? If you just put IBM, that is more than enough. More importantly, what relevant information is required is what you need to put. Contact information, of course, you know that your name, phone number, email address has to be there on the top of the resume if they want to immediately contact you. Before that, naming your resume, right? Now let's say Sudhir, when you're saving your resume, I would say put Sudhir as Agile or Scrum Master, Toronto. So that when the recruiter saves those profile in a folder, or even in the ATS when it is there, it makes more sense to have to know what the name is, what is the role that you're there for, and a location also if it is location specific, rather than putting at resume 2023 resume 123. Name it, have a meaningful name first. Second thing, contact information. I'll give you an example. I think 15 days back, a candidate had put his email ID, but I was not able to send his email. The When I sending an email, his the email bounced back because instead of he had put L in his email ID, and it was constantly bouncing back, right? So those are small mistakes, but those the recruiter does not have time to check and verify. Now I did it because I knew that it was a genuine mistake, but I checked with him on LinkedIn and got his correct email ID and sent it to him. But not everybody will be patient on it. So correct contact information. Professional summary, a brief professional summary. I've seen people put 10 15 lines of professional summary, not required. 3 to 4 lines, make it very brief. And skill set, what are this relevant technical, interpersonal, and also what skills you have developed over the years, and what are relevant to the role that you're applying for, skills. And predominantly the work experience has to start in the first page itself. Go according to the job description, give as much detail as is required. Educational qualifications, Do not forget any certifications you have put. I would prefer that you do not put the certification image or badges on your resume, because it can't be you can't search it. Anyway, you will put it somewhere else. I would rather you put it as text, so that if anybody is looking at any certification, it is searchable, right? Awards and recognition, even if it is employee of the month, employee of the year, pat on the back, any awards that you have got, please do add that. Additional information, your language proficiency, if in the job description they are saying bilingual or other languages, please do put that, otherwise do not. Volunteer work, definitely it is important. Volunteer has brownie points. If companies see that you have done active volunteer work, that will definitely help you. Relevant hobbies, please do things that you're genuinely passionate about. Do not put reading books, and when the hiring manager asks you what is the latest book that you have read, don't say that you haven't read in the last 5 years. I haven't read a book completely in the last 2 3 years, so I wouldn't put that as my hobby right now. And most importantly, formatting. Formatting, you can choose any format that you want, preferably not too fancy with a lot of tables. Certain ATS systems have trouble with tables, and not a lot of pictures and those kind of images in your resume would what I would suggest. Those are the 9 key pointers that I would say, Sudhir.
Just adding one more point before we go to the other speakers. Do not mention your visa status
Yes.
in your resume. Okay, just wanted to add that, Sajid. Okay, now I think a few people have a question. Rupa, any questions?
Hi. Yes, I have a question. Um, how many years of relevant experience should we have to put it? Because that's what is popping out as too many expectations that we have, or because I have like close to 4 years of IT, and I was into um, I was doing my research. I am a PhD graduate as well, and now I'm doing my master's here in Canada. Like it's a professional course that I'm doing here. So is that like how many years of professional experience will it be valid to put up in a resume?
Why do you want to cut any of your experience is experience, whether you have uh, been a software engineer. Maybe it is not for what roles you're applying for, so put what has been your previous experience. It explains the if there are gaps from what education you are currently doing based on your previous experience. It explains the gap. Do not highlight too many things in your software engineering, what you have done in that role. Do not put too many points if you don't want to highlight, but don't miss out on anything.
Okay, so because I heard like so many like inputs, like few say that only 3 years of experience, relevant experience, will be considered for your resume, and all
No,
that
no,
stories has been piling up. So I just
no,
wanted to make it clear on
no.
this day.
That is not clear. That is
Yeah,
not
okay.
how it is. Add now. Now, if you're applying for a PhD role or a research role, right? Would you want to have your programming skills highlighted? Some research projects might need C sharp, C, certain programming skills. Then do mention that. But if in your software engineering role itself, if you have done research or if you have done a lot of data analysis, I would put all those information there which is relevant to your new role. So how you modify it according to the role, that is the skill set that you need to have.
Okay, so it has to be like experience can be put up, but it has to be modified according to the
it
job description that is mentioned there,
it,
right?
it
Like
it is more valuable that way.
that way. Okay, okay.
Thanks, Rupa. Before we move to the
Thank you.
next, yeah, before we move to the next person, just keep this in mind. This is a public forum. Do not share any personal, confidential details. Personal details you can share, but no confidential details like your salary or all those things. Just keep that in mind. So we are going to
Sure.
Chetan. Yeah, Chetan.
Thanks.
Any questions, Chetan?
Hello.
Yeah, Chetan.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Sudhir. Actually, I don't have any question as I'm a recruiter by profession. So I do hire people for IT and technical requirements. So I saw that you are doing a live conference. So I saw that there are a lot of new people who are new into Canada. So I just have a message for them. So can I say that here?
Sure, sure, please.
So I on daily basis when I post a job requirement, So I saw new people who are coming to Canada. They just apply. They don't even like see what is the requirement and what are the relevant experiences required. So they must need to check what is the job description, whether they have relevant experience or not, should they apply for this role or not. So they have to like understand, because
Yeah,
applying just applying to a job without having relevant experience, you will always get rejection, right?
absolutely. That's a great
Yeah,
point, Jason. That's a great
yeah.
point you added. So
And
just keep that in mind. So for everyone, like a lot of people think that okay, I am even if I don't have experience or even if my profile doesn't match the JD, I can go ahead and apply. So please refrain from those applications, because if there is a job description mentioned, of course the recruiter or the hiring manager would be expecting a candidate who matches with the job description. So Chetan
yeah,
brought in a very good point.
yeah. And I also want to thank Sajid Kumar. Like as he said, you need to make if you are applying to a particular new job, so you need to modify your resume according to the JD mentioned there. If you have relevant experience with those skills, I'm not telling like if you don't have experience, even then you are updating your resume. You are mentioning some skills which you don't have experience. If you have experience and which is not there in your resume, so then do mention them in your resume. So you will have higher chances of getting selected, right? So that's all what I want to say about.
No, that's great points, Chetan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for coming in and sharing your experience.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go to the next person. Sharon, any questions, Sharon?
Yeah. Hi, Sujit. Hi, Sudev. Thanks a ton for giving all those inputs. It really helps. Now, a few questions that I have. I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one question that I have is most of the times I actually look into, because I know that there is a hurdle of going through the ATS even if I have relevant experience. So one question I have is I kind of closely follow to the T of following certain portals like, let's say, called JobScan, where you can actually put in your resume and see how much scoring you'll get, probably like an ATS system. So sometimes is there a specific font to follow? I think you mentioned that there isn't a need of a font to follow. You don't just have to avoid the inclusion of tables. But there has been certain cases where I've seen like certain portals are conveying this to the public, saying that if you put in too much of space wordings between words, let's say for example, there is a JD which is asking for project management experience, and I, just because I actually worded my whole document in such a way to look it aesthetically pleasing, and I might have put in the justified kind of font. Sometimes certain ATS systems would not read two words as part of with the same semantic meaning. Is it really that much that candidates have to look into, or is just about following the basic template like you mentioned before, or should we actually pay so close attention to the kind of logic with which ATS system works? That's one question that I have. Second is I have a good amount of years of experience. I just wanted to clarify this, that in the Canadian market, when you actually where all your experiences are good, right? So you can put it across. There could be certain experience which is not really relevant to what you're applying for, but should we always confine to a two-page document, or is it okay if you have the relevant experience and it goes to a three-page document? These are two questions that I have.
Okay, I'll answer the first one. So make it simple. I'll tell you what happens. Have the fonts that is normally available in Word. If you use any fancy kind of font, and if that font is not available in the ATS, now let's say the ATS does not support that font, what will happen is your resume will show, all the fonts will show as blocks, square blocks alone, because that font is not available. So make it as simple as possible. Don't complicate things. Don't put fonts that are not available in normal system, because you can doubt there are thousands of fonts that are there. You can download any kind of fonts, and that ATS might not have it. So follow a simple this thing. What is there in Gmail? What fonts are available, or what fonts are available in Word? Word has many more fonts, so make it simple. That's the first thing. Now, second thing is, what experience do you need? There is something called as transferable skills. Now, let's say I'll give you a typical example of a lady that I'm trying to help get a job. She has a PhD. She was a teacher, and she's right now looking at an office administrative jobs. Right. So I said her research ability, her time management skills, her ability to present well, um, her ability to make notes. Those are all transferable skills that she can use in a from teaching and PhD, that she can use in office administration. So instead of saying just that I taught these students, these are the courses that I taught, there are transferable skills from that role that you can put, saying that this is my profile, this is what I'm applying for. I could use those skills here too. So if it's a new role or a different kind of role, please do uh, change or highlight your transferable skills. Now, apart from that, what was asked earlier also, what how much of experience should you put and not put? Do not eliminate or remove everything. Please definitely stick to a two-page resume. That's why it's called a resume. Otherwise, it's called a curriculum vitae. So if they ask you for a curriculum vitae, then it is more than 2 pages. But if they're asking for a resume in Canadian market, it is 2 page.
Understood. Understood. One more question that I have to that, Sajid, is, let's say, for example, when you
So
said about.
Sharon, sorry for that. So can
Yeah.
we go ahead because a lot of people are
Oh,
waiting.
okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry
Yeah.
for that. We'll take it offline. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Sharon. Yeah, Nidhi, what is the question? And before Nidhi asks, so what happens is in this audience, right? You can only have around 10 or 11 speakers at a time. So once your chance is done, I'll just politely push you down to the listening because so that I can allow the others to ask the question. Okay, please do not mind. Yeah, Nidhi, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, firstly, for having such a great session. So my first question is that one of my friend, he was applying in the Canadian market. He was new to the market, and he came with a good experience of IT from India. But when he started applying, he was applying, like Sajid said, that he was updating each and every resume, and with that tweaks, he was able to apply very less for very less vacancies as compared what was available in the market. Next move what he made was that he started applying with one general, and with that approach he was not able to get or to score many interviews in one go. So that took about 2 months for him to realize that he can also go with a generalistic resume. So basically he was from the data science, and I'm also in the same domain, and I'm looking for the opportunities now. So my question here is it okay to go with the general resume, having all the skills in just one go, so that it qualifies for the ATS system? So yes, is it okay with the general resume having more or more than required skills, so that we achieve that basic par for the system, or we need to make it every time when we are applying for the Canadian Tire, for the Home Depot, for RBC? So we have to make the changes every time for the application. That's my question.
Now you'll cross the first hurdle of the ATS, but there is a second hurdle, the recruiter. Right now, the recruiter
Yeah.
spends roughly 10 seconds on each of the resume, and if I see that, now let's say in your profile, I'm not seeing NLP, I'm not seeing AI, I'm seeing data scientist, Python, and machine learning. I'm
Mhm.
not seeing specifically NLP and AI, which I'm looking for, right?
Mhm.
In the project. Now, I would not shortlist your profile, even though now it all depends upon the recruiter. Some recruiters, if they have a lot of response, they will look at the best fit based on the resume and then call only those persons. Now, one thing you must realize in Canada is, for a role, they will close the position with, let's say, average of 10 shortlisted candidates. They will close the role. Even if they have 200 applicants, they will not wait until they see all the 200 applicants and then shortlist the best candidates. Let's say the recruiter sees some 20, 30 profiles. Of these profiles, if he or she gets 5 to 10 profiles, and she or he speaks to those candidates and is able to shortlist 5 to 6 candidates to the hiring manager, the hiring manager with 6 interviews might close the position.
Right.
In Whereas in India and other places that I've seen, let's say they have a huge talent pool, a lot of people have applied, they'll say, okay, we have had so many applicants, let's wait and see for the best candidate. Here that does not work. So if you
Mhm.
send a generalist profile, it might go through the ATS, the recruiter might see it, but at the recruiter level it might get rejected because you do not match the skill set that basically, if you do not match the skill set that I'm looking for, and I have a lot of applicants, I would reject you, because I would not have the time to speak to you and understand whether your skill set match that role or not.
Yes, Saji. So that in addition to what I said, the generalistic resume. So, like if you're talking about the data science in particular, so is it fine that I include each and every algorithm, like the XGBoost, AGBoost, Random Forest, all these algorithms also in the resume, or is it fine if I just say that I know the ML, I know the NLP, just these word, or do I need to get into the each and every algorithm also? Because
Nidhi, you're a data scientist, right?
yes,
You know that for the final report or the final output to have, you need to have the raw data.
yes.
Without the raw data, if the data is not clean, you do not get the right output, right? If the
Hmm.
data has something missing in it, then your output or the report that you generate is skewed. As simple as
That,
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
So in that approach, we need to include everything in our
What is
resume.
required for that role, please include everything.
And if we are just applying, in a mass application, we are just putting, we are applying through the LinkedIn, through the Glassdoor. So can we just have one simplistic one which has everything in
I
one resume?
I think we discussed this earlier. Never do mass application. If you are not applying for the relevant roles, you will
Hmm.
get exhausted. You will get rejection. Rejection in not only for job, for any kind of rejection has a negative impact on your morale. Right?
Yeah,
Never do that. Keep track of what you are applying for, so that you know what companies that you're applying for, what role it is. Because if you're getting a call at that time, you wouldn't be surprised. I don't know which role it is, and then take the call and not give the right kind of information. Keep track of what you have a strategy. Keep
Hmm.
track of where you're applying, what roles you're applying, and keep see whether this uh, it's called the data analysis, what you're doing for your roles, right? Which roles you're applying, when you're applying for those roles. You please have a strategy and don't do random application.
Definitely, sure. Thanks, Sajid. But last question is that can we use the NGO experience for filling up the gap when we are not officially working in an organization?
Definitely
Like,
help. NGO
okay,
experience, volunteer experience, even if
Freelancing.
you have done, yeah, any philanthropy, any courses that you have done also, if you if there is a gap, please do mention that.
definitely, sure.
Thank
Thanks,
you. Thanks, Nidhi. Yeah,
Sajid.
let's move on to the next one. Viber. Okay, Yamini, any questions?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Sudhir. Hi, Sajid. Thanks for
Hey.
this session. Very informative. So, I just wanted to ask, like, if my resume, actually, I have 10 years of experience in quality assurance, and my resume is three-page resume. I've worked for four companies and five different projects. So, will ATS reject a resume which is lengthy, like more than 2 pages? Because I've shortened it also, but still, it's still a three-page resume for me.
The ATS will not reject, the recruiter will reject, because it's a standard here. And the moment
Mm-hmm.
a recruiter gets seeing that it is beyond 2 pages, he or she will think that this person is not from does not have an experience here. The recruiter will reject it. I have had PhD holders with 20 years of experience put everything in a 2-page resume. When you say
Mm-hmm.
that you are great at communication, one hint is whether you can make it precise and concise. That also shows how you can put all your qualification in a 2-page resume.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
maybe
do we
I'll
have
just give
an?
a tip. I'll just give a
Yeah,
tip
sure, sure,
on
sure,
that.
please.
So what I generally do is I keep the lengthy thing outside of my resume. So for example, I have done case studies, multiple case studies. So what I do is I put all the case studies in a Google folder and I provide the Google Drive link in the resume. I have done 7 dashboards in Tableau and I have published it in the Tableau website. So I take that link and I put it here. So I have worked on some automation tools. So I have posted that in Google Drive and put that link in here. So what I generally do is I keep the resume at 2 pages, but there will be multiple links. There are 8 links in my resume, which will take the hiring manager or the recruiter to a different place. It's a Google Drive, Google public site, maybe LinkedIn article. So that helps the recruiters and the hiring managers to navigate and see, okay, what this person has actually done. That's a
Okay,
that's a
okay.
tip which you can use. I've been using that for years now.
Thank you,
Thank
Sudhir.
you.
So I can, like, I have taken similar roles only in all the companies, so I can like write the roles and one at one place and all the different companies at one place. Will that work? so that
that
the
is
length is.
that is a more of a functional resume.
Hmm.
See, instead of putting, that's what I'm saying, instead of putting roles in everything, put what are the achievements that you have done. Now, being a software tester, what have you helped the company achieve? Rather than everybody will put a role, right? They will say, I have done this, I've done that, I've done. In this, this is my job role and responsibility. Rather than that, what have you achieved in that particular project? How have you helped the company or in that particular project? That makes more sense, and that will be unique for your role, unique for yourself.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so much.
Yamini, yeah, if you're a
Yeah.
QA, just automation is required. If you have
Hmm.
automation, reach out to
Yes.
me. I'll be able to help out.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
I'll definitely read.
Sure.
And
Thanks.
one more thing I wanted to ask.
Sorry,
Do
Yamini, we have to move on because there are a
Sure,
lot
sure.
of
No,
people in
no
pending. Okay.
problem. No
Okay. Thank
problem.
you.
No problem.
Hope you
Yeah.
understand.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shivanshu, any question?
Yes, thanks, Sudhir and Sajid, for the guidance. I just want to ask that I did my graduation, and after my graduation, I'm pursuing here cloud computing graduate certificate. So I'm having no experience in IT. So in my resume, should I mention my part-time job such as cashier or the fundraiser? Does it make sense in the IT job or not?
That is why it makes sense, and that is why we encourage people to work. A 4-year degree computer science students in Calgary or any university here will have 6 to 7 co-ops that they work. It will nowhere be related to their engineering job, but the reason that they put is that shows that they know how to deal with the customers here. They are comfortable in the language. They can deal with the customers in Canada. They have experience in time management. They have experience in a work environment. It all that experience shows. How you present it is depends upon you, but that shows that you are fit and ready to work in a Canadian environment. Please do not exclude.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shivanshu. Gurleen.
Yeah, thank you so much for this event. And my question was same as Shivanchu. I'm also a complete fresher without any prior experience back in India, and now I got graduated in August, but I'm unable to land on IT jobs due to like no internships or any experience. But I have like a customer service experience, due to which I got a job in customer service. But in IT, how a fresher can jump, like even the entry level jobs, they require at least 3 years of experience.
Customer service, that will, I'll have to look at your resume to understand what change or the transferable skills that you can have. But what is your target audience? Where are you targeting? There are non-for-profit organizations which require tech support. There are MSP providers, managed service providers. They are called MSP providers. There are a lot of MSP providers which provide tech support to other companies. They will hire fresh graduates and new graduates, provided you have a strong technical support ability and also good communication skills. So your target, where you're targeting, is very important. Now, if you keep targeting very large organization for tech support, obviously they're going to look at your previous experience, but there are a lot of places where you can definitely apply.
So here I would like to add on, like in the starting after my graduation, I applied to so many of the developer jobs, as I am genuinely interested in the developing roles in the software development. But due to like rejections and no positive response, I started applying in the technical support roles in the various call centers and all. But there also, like, I am having trouble. And so the thing is, like, even though we want our career to be in the developing field, but the companies are like not supporting to the extreme freshers. So how we can like start our career as a software developers, or we have to look for the agencies or any
No.
of the
Yeah,
those
agencies
who.
agencies don't get new graduates or fresher jobs. No company gives those roles to agencies. You will have to directly apply on the website. Now, Gurleen, do you have, so you did your masters here and your bachelor's back home?
Yeah, I did my bachelor's in I completed in 2020, and in 2021 May, I was here in Canada for my post graduation. So it was the gap for almost 5 months
No,
only.
it's not the gap. It's the co-op. What I mentioned before. A person doing a 4-year degree in Canada will have 6 to 7 uh, internships in his or her project. They will have. If you see there, it will be a full 2-page resume with job experience in 5 to 6 companies that he has worked. It could be any job. You're competing with people who have shown that they have job experience here. So if you don't have a co-op, in Canada, or if you don't have your project explained in detail back home, it will be difficult for a person to evaluate whether you have that software engineering experience. So that might be one of the challenges.
Okay, okay, understood.
Maybe I'll just give a small tip. So there is a lot of freelancing opportunities available. If you are a student, if you are doing the course right now, this is the best opportunity for you to do some freelancing work or unpaid co-ops, which will help you gain the experience and the tools. You understand how it works, how the development happens, or how the data analysis works, all those things happens. That will actually give a boost to your job search when you add that in your resume.
Give you a what adding to what Sudhir said, right? If you know how to use APIs, and if you are good with Python or any programming language, you pull out all the layoffs that is happening, put it in an Excel sheet, find out, do an analysis of which companies, what layoff, what percentage it is, put it in your LinkedIn profile or put it in your resume as a link, what Sudhir suggested. Have it on GitHub, show that you're active on GitHub, and that would be a talking point for any role that you're applying for.
Thank you so much for this tip. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah. Saro.
Yeah, thank you for giving this opportunity. I have just one question, and my question is that someone mentioned that you do not have to mention, where exactly you have worked, let it be in India or anywhere. However, when we get a call, there is a popular term called Canadian experience. So, is do we have to mention anything like where exactly you have done work in India or in Canada, or how exactly to tackle that question? Because suddenly your experience, personally, I have experienced that it doesn't make any sense when they ask like you have 5 years, 6 years of experience in India, but now you need Canadian experience as well. So how exactly to answer that question, if that can be answered,
Saurabh,
please? Thanks.
I'll ask you the question: what do you understand by Canadian experience, and why do they want that Canadian experience?
Yeah. So, for example, if I've applied to any company's role, right, and they have mentioned, let's say, 4 years and 5 years, so they do not mention that it is an Canadian experience which is required, or I assume that it is the required role experience for what you have applied for. However, whenever you get a call, they ask that have you worked here in Canada? Is it a Canadian experience, which is 4 years, or it's back in India? Because if we say that the original thing it's 4 years, so sometimes the call gets dropped, or your application gets rejected. So I just want to understand, while applying roles here, is it the Canadian experience, which how exactly to answer that question?
Okay, what
Yeah.
employer is looking for is, because you're dealing with clients, even if you're a technical role, you'll be interacting with the clients. You need to understand what works. Now I'll tell you a simple example. The how we work with a US client differs from how you work with a Canadian client. What conversations you have with the client level, that is totally different. What the employer is looking for is, do you know how to deal with clients? So your technical experience is, wherever you are in this world, it is the same, but how you deal with clients in Canada is most important. So that is why we say co-op is not a simple thing to ignore. The reason why people say that you should put your co-op and should have co-op is, it guarantees that to the employer that you have already worked in a Canadian environment, and you have the transferable skills to deal with the customers. So they can't have a risk of hiring a very strong technical person but who does not know how to handle Canadian clients. So that is all that is required. So any experience that you have, be it at a TTC or at KFC, or any experience that you have in Canada, plus your programming skills or any other skills that you have, that is a value addition that is there. Apart from that, basics, your project should be there on GitHub, it should be active. All the other basics, if it is there, I would say your Canadian experience, you need not highlight it any differently. It's whatever experience you have should be more than enough.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you, Saro. Apurva.
Hi,
And
sir. I have a
yeah,
quick question and a really small question.
sure.
As to what in case of summaries, as sir said, that the summary should have the transferable skills, but how to explain that summary? Like many times I have seen on the internet that it is written that highly motivated, 3 years experience, but to how to express it rightly, I wanted to know that approach.
Okay, one small tip, Apurva: in Canadian environment, never call anyone sir or madam. That is
I'm
one
sorry.
small tip.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that is something that we come from wherever, whichever country we are in. Never use that, right? It's always with first name. Okay. For your, how do you use transferable skills? Now, what is now? Let's say you're working in a financial environment, right? I see financial crimes and risk. This thing. So, what are the transferable skills that you can showcase in a bank or in, let's say, in a uh, okay, let's say you're applying for a recruiter role. How can I use risk research, financial crimes, and this keen eye for details, ability to make sense of lot of data, find discrepancies in what has been mentioned in the document versus the actual conversation. If you use those kind of words as a transferable skills, then what happens is, being a recruiter, these are things that are required. So if Apurva is applying using those transferable skills for a recruiter job, there is a high possibility that a very good hiring manager would be able to spot those.
Okay, and also just a question on that. What I have seen is that normally we look into the format that they also want it to be quantitative, like putting into how much increase or decrease or what kind of result you have got. It should be in the summary itself as well, or it is good to go with the experience only.
No, it's with the experience. You can now, if you are in the sales and you say that you have brought in 150 million a year, that will be a great thing to put it in your summary itself, because that will highlight or catch the attention immediately. But otherwise, put it in your job description alone.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Apurva. So, in case any developers or anyone is listening to this, so Hari Krishna, who is in the speaker panel, he has created a small video, and he has published it on on just some tips and tricks to update your resume or how to create a good resume. Hari, you just want to explain it?
Sudhir, I have taken that video back because it needed a bit more work. So I thought,
Sure.
I'm putting it a half-baked resume. Half-baked video. I'll perfect it and put it in a few days.
Great. Okay then. I'll publish that. So I'll be sharing it with everyone. And similarly, just a couple of things. In case you are in Canada and you are searching for the job, we have like a WhatsApp group where I share almost all the jobs which is coming my way. So in case you want to join that, please just PM me. I'll be I'll be adding you into that group. Same thing. This whatever we are our sessions, right, it is getting streamed live in YouTube. So we'll be having further videos in the YouTube. In case you are interested, I'll be sharing those links also, so you can actually get into the when you watch the recordings in case you want. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. John Ben.
Hi Sudhir, I have just one question. Can we add references in a Canadian resume?
References on request. Never put references, names, details, email ID. Reference only when asked, and contact details of anyone only when asked after you get an offer. Not required in the resume.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next one. Anu.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Sudhir and Sajid. Thank you for the forum. Sajid, I have a question regarding the location, and you told that experiences matters whether it is Canadian or Indian. So, uh, I have been working with the same company for 12 plus years, and I have had different roles from a developer to a database administrator, and for the last 5 years, I was working as a business analyst. So I'm looking for a job as a business analyst now, and I have experience in multiple geography, like different continents and different countries. So should I explicitly mention everything, every roles, every places I have, or should I keep it precise to the position which I'm looking for right now?
Two-page resume is a must, but do not omit anything. It shows progression, that from being a support engineer you have progressed to up to a business analyst. Business analyst means you understand the business, you understand the market, you understand the environment, and you are able to provide solution both, or understand, do the requirement gathering and provide a solution or suggestion to the internal team. Do not exclude anything. But highlight, if you're sending for a BA, it's more business system analyst now, so your technical skill will come very much handy for the business system analyst role. Do not omit, but highlight your business skills.
Yeah, what about the locations? Because I have Canadian experience for last 1 year, but this is under the same company. I have moved around the world in the same company. So should I, when I mention my experience, should I explicitly mention these, the
Yes,
locations?
let's say you're applying for a large company which has clients or which has projects in multiple countries. Now, that ability for you, that your local experience in those countries is an added advantage. If you have worked in different countries for the same company, please do mention those different locations too.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. We have Vinod here. Vinod is also one of my close friend and one of my good professional network here in Canada. He has helped me a lot. Vinod, you want to add something? Vinod Kurup.
Thank you, Sudhir. Just want to add what Sajid and Sudhir was mentioning. I was hearing a lot of questions about location, number of pages, what details, what to include, what not to include. Uh, Make sure that you are selling yourself. So, and within a short time. So I have reviewed, I have applied for many jobs, I have attended many interviews. At the same time, I have been in the hiring panel and reviewing resumes as well. So in a day, in every day's work, like as a hiring manager, I only get like 5 to 10 seconds to go through a resume. So if and remember, when you write your resume, keep that in mind. You have only 5 to 10 seconds to impress the hiring manager. If you are not impressing, your profile is getting into the sidebar. If that is interesting, in 5 to 10 seconds you can impress the hiring manager from your skills and experience, that resume is kept for a second read. That is the key things. Like rest, everything is comes later. So make sure that you have everything, like quantity, like what by looking for is relevant experience. What is your skills, like what is your attitude, what is your aptitude, how adaptable you are, like how enthusiastic you are. Those are the skills you can apply anywhere and everywhere, regardless of industry, geographic location, and age. So, like, doesn't matter you are a fresher, doesn't matter you are like a 15-year-old experienced skilled person. If you have those basic skill set, your resume always get picked to the final round.
Great, great,
Is
great,
it?
great input, Vinod. Thank you. So, your resume, it is not good. It should be impressive. That is a wonderful point which Vinod had brought in. That is absolutely correct because we skim through the resume. Has to be impressive for you to get selected. We have 8 minutes. We have a hard stop at 8:30, unfortunately. But before that, we'll try to answer as much as questions. So please try to keep your questions brief. And in case you want to take it offline, as you guys know how to reach me. Hari, what's your question?
A very quick question to Sajid. Three specific questions. Sajid mentioned about.
Ask one. Ask one. Come on, go ahead.
Sajid mentioned about choosing the right words for a Canadian system. That point wasn't clear, so I wanted to know what was that about. And two, when you're writing resumes, will bullet points help, or does full sentences help?
I'll answer the second one quickly. Bullet points, but complete sentences in the bullet points. Bulleted, complete sentences. They put bullets and then it should be complete sentence to make sense as to what it is. Just not 3-4 words in those bullets. And what I mean is, now what is the language? Now what is used in EMEA for certain roles is different in Canada. It's different in US. That is why we say customize according to the job description here, because when you are using certain keywords, it's called business terminology. The business terminology, sometimes what is used in different locations is different. You might have the skill set, but you might be using a different kind of words for the same role or same job description that you're saying. It might not match what the company here is looking for, and the ATS might not pick it up. So that is why we say customize it according to the JD.
So what is the ideal number of bullet points per project? So if
Nothing like that. There's no ideal numbers.
all right.
See,
Yeah,
ultimately,
don't let
yeah,
the recruiter get bored. That's it.
yeah, yes, it has to be pleasing to the eye, right? It has to be pleasing. See, rather than the recruiter, the hiring manager has lesser time to go through everything. What he wants to see, he wants to see it immediately, and he wants it in the right language. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we have Ron here. Ron, you want to add something? Ron is my professional network, which we met. We met in LinkedIn. Ron Johnson, you have want to add something, or you have
Hi,
any
hi,
question?
Sudhir. Good to see.
Hey,
Yeah, good to see you guys. Great job bringing this together. Is this the first one, or have you been doing it for quite a while?
we have been doing it quite a while in Clubhouse, but yeah, LinkedIn it's the first time. I think it's the second time. We had a soft launch back in September, but yeah, this is actually the first one.
This is awesome, awesome. So good to see everybody. I mean, I agree with what Sajid was saying and what others have highlighted. I mean, a good way to kind of gauge your resume is to kind of and your LinkedIn profile is to benchmark it with other people working in the industry, right? So, like Sajid was mentioning, everybody's trying to say create enough curiosity in the resume that people will want to talk to you. So it has to stand out. So talk about your wins, talk about the metrics, and talk about the numbers. I'm sure all these points have been covered. But great job. Good to see everybody.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Ron,
Thanks,
for the
Ron.
comment. Yeah. Okay, now let's
Sudhir, if
ask.
the time
Yeah,
permits, I want to add one more thing.
yeah, Vinod, please let us do it quickly because
So, uh,
there is just 5 minutes. We have to we have a few more
yeah,
people to ask a question. Okay.
yeah. One thing you have to look for is the job description. That is where you get the challenge the hiring manager is trying to solve, the problem they are trying to solve. Like they are hiring for a issue or for a requirement. So that is the key. The job requirement is the key where you can see that like what the hiring manager is looking for and what problem they are trying to solve. Understand the problem, answer to that problem um, through your resume.
Thank you,
That's
Vinod.
all. That's what
Thanks.
I want to
Yeah,
add.
thanks. So next we move to Lavanya. We have 4 minutes. Please let us be fast. Lavanya, Chiranjeevi.
Yeah, hi Sudhir. And so my question is about so whenever I apply for any job, I get a question like, "What's your salary expectation?" And I'm pretty confused because I'm very new to the Canadian market. I'm not sure like should I say it like less, or should I say it like as per my experience, or it's as per the industrial standards? So I'm not sure about this.
Maybe
Do
Sajid,
let.
I'll take this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Please,
Good.
go.
Good.
Please, no, no.
Good.
Please go. Please go.
Yeah, yeah. So, Chiranjeevi, my request to you is to do your research in Glassdoors and other media, and you can also talk to the people who just try to understand how much the budget is, and if you are able to match the budget, just give them the range. So, if you are thinking that okay, it is 70 to 80k, so just give 70 to 80 or 80 to 85. Just give them their range, and of course, they will try to negotiate with you, and that is where your negotiation skills comes into play. Sajid, you want to add something?
Exactly what you said. Understand the range and where you want to position yourself is important. That is how you do it. Do not say industry standards. It varies for company to company. You have to understand what is the budget that they have and place yourself according to that budget.
Yeah, I have two connections in my LinkedIn. One person is a project manager. He's working at $40 an hour. Another person is a project manager. He works at $110 an hour. Both almost same
Yeah.
skill set. So, but they are negotiated it wrong way. So that's the range. It might go wrong if you fail in your negotiation. Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
So
Sudhir.
yeah,
Thank you, Sajid.
thanks, Chiranjeevi. We move on to Shiva.
Yeah, hi Sudhir. Hi Sudhir. Thank you for the opportunity. So my query is like I've been graduated in December 2021. Thereafter, like it was quite a struggle to get an opportunity, and somehow I got into a organization. And yeah, I've seen one of the recent posts by Sudhir. So where you were mentioning like the first opportunity is difficult, but later once you gain experience in Canada, like yeah, you get to more opportunities. Actually, yeah, I agree that like so the first year I might have gained the Canadian experience, but how does the proportionality of the opportunities change with the experience? And whereas the first opportunity is itself very difficult.
Didn't understand the question clearly. So you're saying that how to you already have got a job, and you're saying how to transition from that job to a new role.
Yeah, but because the first opportunity was very difficult, Sajid. Whereas, like as per the Sudhir's post, he was mentioning getting a later opportunities after the first opportunity is easier compared to the first opportunity.
Yeah, that is true. So what is the challenge? I didn't get the question actually.
No,
So,
I think
what
Sudhir would
makes the
have said,
difference?
no,
What
Sudhir
makes the
would have said that
difference?
the first job is the most difficult. After
Yeah.
that, it gets easier because
Yeah, yeah.
once you have that 1 year experience as working in a Canadian company, whenever you apply, you don't have the challenge of saying you don't have that Canadian experience. So that is
Yeah.
covered. Rest is only whether to find the right role and what skill set you have gained over those 1 years. How do you highlight that more and get into a relevant job based on your skill set?
Okay. Yeah,
Hey,
that's it,
Sudhir,
Sajid.
can I add something?
That's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Please, who was that?
Yeah, this is me, sir. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's.
So,
It might be the last question. So whoever is there, see, as I said, we have a WhatsApp group, but that is. I'll just open it up for some time only because I used to send the messages just to all the jobs. It's a one-way communication, not the two-way communication because it gets cluttered. But in case you wanted to join, please let me know. Please ping me. I'll try to add you. Yeah. Last one or two questions, Sarah. Sub.
yeah, so Sudhir, I have a question because I've been in Canada for like 8 years already, but I have like an experience in customer care. But I'm trying to go into like software development. I have studied. I have a diploma program from like college in Brampton, but I'm trying to get into like entry level role. So do you have any idea like where are those, like I can source those like basically those jobs? So in on which job platform I can find more opportunities related to like entry level opportunities like in software development?
It will all be there in the company website. The best way is to create a Google alert saying for new graduates. The freshers jobs are known as new graduates here. So put a Google alert where any new graduate opportunities or any mention of new graduates comes to your mail. uh, Visit those company website. Those roles will be there on the company website and apply directly.
You mean like I need to subscribe to some website before, like, I need to
No,
subscribe, then I don't
no.
get that.
You Google how to create a Google alert, and the Google the key for the Google alert is new graduate jobs. And any company that mentions new graduate in their website, you'll get an alert saying that this company has put new graduate in their website. Apply to the job site directly.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Great, great. And also try to keep up matching with all the job website. Today I met a guy who got a job from the Glassdoor. That's very rare, but yeah, he got a co-op opportunity from the Glassdoor. That was really nice. So unfortunately, the time is up. We have to literally close this session. But thanks everyone. Again, this session is recorded in case you want to play it. It's in YouTube. Plus, as I said, in case you wanted to have guys want to take it offline, please ping me. We'll try to add it and follow the page. There is a page called Get Hired in Canada. I try to share almost all the jobs which is coming my way. Almost on a daily basis, it's like 40 to 50 jobs I share, but not today. Today I was a bit busy, but on a regular basis, I share almost 40 to 50 jobs. The same thing I posted in my WhatsApp groups also. So join there, and similarly, keep your LinkedIn updated. LinkedIn is one of the most important parameters, or one of the most important things more than resume in Canada. And we have this session regularly, so let me know in case you guys are interested to join these sessions. I'll try to add you. You can PM me. And special thanks to Sajid for sharing all the information, for accepting my invite and coming here and spending 1 hour to help everyone out. Thank you, Sajid.
Yeah, just
Any
want to add finally, before going, Ron has mentioned this in many of his sessions. You have to market yourself. Nobody will market. You are the product. You should know how to market yourself. The best marketer gets a job. That's all.
Absolutely. The best employee may not be the best candidate. We usually say that, right? Yeah, so that's how the world is. But, anyways, thank you. Thanks, Ron, Vinod, Hari, and everyone for sharing the information. And follow this post. We have put a lot of comments, a lot of posts helping out the job seekers how to improve the resumes and all. In case you want the details, just join the WhatsApp group or the details. And those who didn't get a chance to speak, I'm really sorry for that because of the lack of time. But ensure that join the next session. We'll try to set up a next session very soon. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Night all.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody. Yeah. Thank you
Bye.
very
Good
much.
night.
Thanks for
Good night, everybody.